everyone. Pastor Nate here. And for the people at the front, if you call the front your home, this is you believe in the vision and the mission and the values of the front. This is a place where you're spiritually nourished. This is your spiritual home and your spiritual community. We want to give a financial update. Now, if you're curious, if you're a guest with us, if you are not a part of the front officially, but you're curious about finances and that sort of stuff and how we handle finances, I just say you're welcome to watch this video too. We believe in financial transparency. We don't think we have anything to hide. In fact, we're happy to share that with you guys. We're happy to give you spreadsheets and Excel sheets and budget reports and let you know kind of the inner workings, how the money is used at the front. So no, you're welcome to watch this too, but this is specifically for the people at the front. If you're a guest with us, know that we give to create a space for you. We're giving because we want to create a space for people to explore Jesus' story, to safely explore without judgment, a place where they can ask questions, a place where you can belong before you believe. Those are really important things for us. And so we're giving to create that space. And so I just want to give an overview. The last time we did this was an in-person meeting in October, but want to give you kind of an idea of where things are. And so the first thing I need to share with you guys is simply that how our funding structure works as the Front Church. We're 3.5 years old. And so in 2019 and 2020, before we ever started the Front Church, 0% of our funding was coming from within the Front Church and 100% was coming from outside. It's individuals, it's churches, it's people and organizations who believe in what we're doing and want to be part of getting it off the ground. In October of this past year, 2024, 40% of our giving was coming from the people of the front, and 60% of our giving was coming from, again, outside of the front. And 3 years in, we would like to have seen these numbers switched. We would like to see 60% coming from within the front and 40% coming from outside the front. But that's okay. One of the things I want to make sure to share with you guys is we exist because people believe in us. We exist because churches believe in us and what we're doing. They believe in us creating a space where people, no matter religious background or completely irreligious, can come and explore Jesus' story. People believe that Jesus still changes lives and is at work. And so that's why they gave to start. That's why they give now. But our goal is in 2027, which is near almost 2 years, to be 100% self-sufficient, that our funding comes from within the front and 0% is needed from outside support. It's not that people will cease to give, but it is that we are able to function as an autonomous, self-sustaining church on our own, and not just like getting by, but actually positioned to help start new churches as well down the line. And so we're actually at a point in our life where some givers and some churches will begin to choose to reallocate their giving in another direction. When we started, I asked churches and people for a 5-year commitment. Now, some people will do more than 5. Some churches will do more than 5. But we have seen a couple churches recently either significantly decrease what they're giving towards the front because they're coming up on that 4 to 5 year commitment. Or maybe they may reallocate altogether. And this is an opportunity for us to grow up. I'm excited to update you guys from where we were at in October and where we are now. But making budget for us as a church needs to be seen in this light. It's that we may make budget as a church, but still a significant portion of our funding is coming from outside of the front. And so there needs to be an ownership for people who are part of the front to know that that won't always be there. And so I want to say this, and I know this is going to sound a little intense, but I just want to make sure that we kind of understand the gravity of this. And that's if in 5 years, the Front Church looks then like it does now, we won't exist as a church. And that doesn't mean that like God didn't move. That doesn't mean that you won't have some relationships and friendships that you have as part of the front. But it simply means that in order for us to get here, we need to continue to grow. We need to continue providing a safe place for people to have a spiritual home and to explore Jesus' story. We need to continue to be a place where people meet Jesus. And as people meet Jesus, and as people also make their home at the front church, we can invite them to give as well. And again, if you're a guest, if you're new to the front, we just want you to come. But if you are at the point where the front is becoming your home, then we want to invite you to give. Now, sometimes there's a perception that if giving goes up, then I get paid more. And I just want to kind of handle that real quick, because that is not actually the reality of the situation. The amount that I get paid to lead the front church is set by a team of advisors. And there's a process they go through to change that. But it's not if giving increases, then I get a raise. That's not how our finances work. What does increase is when giving increases, our ability to do more ministry increases. Our ability to serve our community generously increases, and our ability to be around long term also increases, because we need to grow to a point where we can support ourselves. And so I don't just want to survive, though. I don't just want to hit a spot where we can be around long term, but I don't just want to be self-sustaining, but we want to be part of a movement. We've never thought the front church is the be-all, end-all. This isn't. We're part of a network of churches that starts other churches. We ourselves give to a couple new churches that are starting. One in Colville called Summit 419, and they're less than a year old, and one in Daybreak called Neighborhood Church, where they're a year and a half old. We want to see new churches started all over the valley. We dream of being able to participate more in creating safe places for people to experience Jesus' story. Not just the front church, yes, the front church, but more than the front church, more in the valley. We want a building. Right now, our budget accounts for our rent, but a building is going to cost a lot more. We want a building so that we can be here long term, so that we can have some stability, so that our volunteers don't have to show up at 7:30 a.m. every Sunday to help set up, but as a building, we can release those volunteers to other roles and responsibilities. We dream of a building one day. We dream of a building that can be an incubator for ministry and an incubator for people to figure out what it looks like to be a church in Utah, so then they can go start a church somewhere else in the Salt Lake Valley or somewhere else in our state. We want to continue to grow with Jesus and with one another and experience the life he brings and invite others to do the same. So I think that is important to color where we are right now. So in October, we had a budget meeting. And prior to October, in January of last year, we had $68,034 in the bank. $40,000 of that was in a high yield savings account, and then $28,000 was operational budget things, ministry, payroll, facility rental, kid front, hospitality supplies, all these things that we give to. So $40,000 in a high yield savings account and $28,000 as operational. But over the course of the year, and we set our budget based on previous year's giving, both inside and outside giving, we set that budget. But by October of last year, we only had $44,605. And that's a lot. We're praising God for that. Not every new church or church plant in our position is in a position like this. And so we're really thankful. We're thankful, but our desire was not to dip into that money sitting in this high yield savings account, because we do dream of a building. We do want to see that money grow. We want to see actually more money put into it one day. And so this was a little alarming, because it meant we had a bleed of about $2,500 a month. And so this is a result both of some less giving outside and inside. And this was also a result of some unexpected costs last year, like moving expenses and a rental increase. We had to move from the school to One Voice Studios. And so in October, we had the meeting, and the short-term goal was to stop the bleeding. And I'm so excited to share that by December, we had $58,558 in the bank at the end of December 2024, which was great. And so thank you. If you we're part of increasing your giving, if you're a part of maybe giving for the first time, thank you. This is a growth step for us. We are growing as a church. We are going from an infant church to a baby church to a toddler church that's learning to walk, and so we're getting there. Our long-term goal was to set a sustainable budget for 2025. And so we set a budget that was actually $1,000 less than it was in 2024 to account for some of the changes we were seeing. And so I'm also really excited to share with you that in February of 2025, we had $69,476 in the bank, which is amazing. That's more than January 2024. And I want to explain this number real quick. This is a result of you guys increasing your giving. This is also the result of, we had a stage that we were using at the school that we weren't using. It was sitting in my garage for a long time. We were able to sell that, get $3,000 from our stage. We had a generous outside giver. And again, we don't know. And we don't know how long gifts like this will come in because of our life stage as a church. But we had an outside giver, not a part of the front, but believes in what we're doing, who gave $6,000 in January. So $3,000 from stage sale, $6,000 from that giver, and then you guys stepping up and giving. And wow, look at how God provides. But the one thing I'm really excited to share with you now is that even without those gifts, even without the $6,000 gift and not accounting for the $3,000 sale, we made budget in January. Now, we were short in February, but there's an ebb and flow to things. But we also, neither month did we outspend what came in. And so this really sets us up well for 2025. So even if you include those gifts, that gift of $6,000 in January that came from outside the front, but someone who believes in the front, even if you include that, check this out. I'm so excited. In January and February 2025, 50.2% of the money that came into the front came from you guys. And 49.8% came from outside. We turned a corner. We're moving towards self-sustainability. The first time in the Front Church's history where more came in through you guys than outside of you guys. And so thank you. Thank you for hearing the call to give. Thank you if you increased your giving. Thank you if you started giving for the first time. As a reminder, we're happy to share all the details about our budget with you guys and what money goes where and all of that thing. But thank you. We're set up for a great year. And my prayer is that not only will we set up for a great year, but my prayer is that God would set us up for the long haul. That we would move more and more to a point of self-sustainability. We'd move more and more to a point of self-sustainability. We're giving increases so that ministry increases. We're giving increases so we can be here long term. We're giving increases so we are around 5 years from now. And hear me when I say this. It cannot just be you guys giving. You are giving, and you're giving generously, and we're thankful. But we have to grow. We have to see more people meeting Jesus, and we have to there's not a pressure on them. We don't want pressure on them to give. We only want people to give when their hearts are ready to give. Giving this is not a requirement at the Front Church. We don't enforce it. We want people to give because they want to give. So we need more people meeting our generous Jesus, and then Jesus in his time forming generous hearts in them, and they decide, I want some skin in the game here too. So thank you for giving, but pray that God grows the front. A passage that's been on my heart recently is a passage Apostle Paul writes that Paul planted, Apollos watered, but God gives the growth. And my prayer is that we would continue to be a safe haven for people to meet Jesus. And when they meet him, that he changes and is at work to change their hearts and their lives. They realize how incredible he is. And then they too want to be part of creating safe havens, plural, not just the Front Church, but safe havens, other churches where people can meet Jesus. So thank you guys. That's the financial update for through February 2025. We don't have March numbers just yet, We want to keep you guys in the loop about where we are, where we're headed, and invite you guys to pray, you guys to give, and so thankful. It's what an honor to be partnered in the gospel together.